and look forward to a more digital future. We here at the Full Stack Business Builder Conference are leading the fully digital conference experience. We are base zero. We're base level zero. We are the ones that are saying, you know what? Hybrid is great. Virtual's growing like gangbusters. Let's do virtual only exceptionally well. Since the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown hit us in 2020, virtual events have become a mainstay in our work and social lives. Frankly, they are now a permanent fixture in our work and social lives as well. There are people who still feel uncomfortable, though, about large gatherings, and those who, for health reasons, truly can't attend in-person meetings yet. Although lockdown limited us to virtual gatherings, we have slowly realized that there are more advantages to online meetings. With virtual events, no travel time is needed to get to the venue, saving both time and money. We can invite friends and colleagues from all over the world to join our webinars and our meetings. Number 3, we can help our children with our homework, and then 5 minutes later, we can switch to a laptop for a virtual conference. I've done that before. Because of this convenience of virtual events, there's been a surge in the popularity of so-called hybrid events, a mix of in-person and virtual events together. It's just your standard physical event with an addition of technology that allows virtual attendance for those who can't make it. And so, I've been digging into the studies. I've been digging into the research. And it's clear, this particular world of virtual meetings is only getting bigger. One study that I discovered that the pre-pandemic hybrid or virtual gatherings accounted for only 18.9% of all events. So less than 20% of all events in the world before the pandemic was virtual. After lockdown ended, the numbers shifted with close to 60% or 59.5% of event planners who were interviewed stating that they intend to hold hybrid events moving forward. Only 5.4% of the respondents had no intention to organize hybrid events, and 35.1% answered with a maybe. You know what they say, my friends? Necessity is truly the mother of invention. As we saw that the technologies for webinars have developed much more quickly than anticipated. Because everyone was meeting online, our collective experiences gave birth to tools and apps that made it easier and more enjoyable to attend and organize virtual events successfully. And so for me, as an aggregator of massive amounts of data, as you guys well know from my previous newsletters and previous videos, I've been noodling on this for the last year, trying to figure out how to amalgamate and create the best conference platform humanly possible. And so, I'll tell you right now, the future is virtual events. And you'll also remember I wrote about this in 2019 in my 3rd book. So let's talk about this. The future is virtual events. The market for virtual events is estimated to reach $366.5 billion by 2027. So 350 billion plus by 2027. In 2021, the global virtual events market was valued at 114 billion. So we're talking about 2.53x. It's going to grow in just the next couple of years. And experts estimate that it'll grow to over 366 billion by 2027. One major factor in its growth is the prevalence of internet usage globally. With the internet, more people around the world are able to be connected and work with each other remotely. This naturally has led to an increased demand for online meetings and conferences to be able to work effectively and efficiently. Webinars are the most popular form of virtual events, and webinars topped Statista's poll of the most favorite digital activity in 2020. Most favorite activity was a webinar? We were hurting back in 2020. The ON24 Webinar Benchmarks report from 2021 reveals that 72% of marketers say that webinars directly impact their revenue and pipeline in a positive way. And meanwhile, 99%, almost 100% of respondents from the small business and enterprise sector in a Statista survey say that webinars are a significant part of their marketing strategy. The entire global sentiment to moving everything digital, webinar and online and meetups is clear. What they found clearly is webinars provide solid leads, much more than other channels, according to 89% of the respondents. In addition, 78% reported that webinars lower their cost per lead. That's a huge amount of savings. On-demand content is increasing in popularity. This makes a lot of sense. And meanwhile, convenience seems to be the leading factor in the prevalence of webinars among participants, as on-demand content from these events is becoming more and more popular. Live events are still widely used, though the trend shows a decrease in attendance at live events, while on-demand viewing has been increasing. So, more people clearly prefer to be physically present than online during hybrid events, but a 2021 Statista survey indicated that 57% of respondents would prefer to attend a hybrid event in person, and 33% preferred to attend virtually, a massive increase. Though the majority of the respondents were inclined to attend physically, the numbers show that not an overwhelming majority, but a third of respondents still are partial to virtual attendance. So we're still growing. On average, the cost for a large-scale virtual event hovers between $500 and over $8,000 easily. The most expensive cost for companies is the platform, which provides all the technology required to successfully host a large and virtual event. The second most expensive cost is the speakers and moderators. But even if it can be a bit costly, it is still deeply less expensive than the in-person events and more cost-effective for sure. Organizers wouldn't need to book a venue, transportation, lodging, and catering for everyone. However, we'll still need to ensure that the platform they use and the platform that we use to handle all the requirements to make the event as smooth as possible and prevent video fatigue among the attendees during the event. Licensing is also important. So licensing fees for video and conferencing tools and platforms are usually priced in a monthly or annual subscription. Small events can cost you approximately $50 a month, while bigger events can set you back more than $8,000 or more per month depending on the size of your events. Some companies charge add-ons for premium services such as branding and sponsorship booths, while others have most features built in at a fixed monthly rate. So there's lots of options out there for meeting tech. Now, they can also charge you per registrant depending on your pricing model. Other costs that are important to consider as we've been building out this conference here are very simple. We need to understand virtual event venues, virtual conference kits, gifts or giveaways, landing page for the event, which we've already built out, video editing for pre-recorded sessions, technical support, staff training, branded backdrops or green screens, dry runs and rehearsals, security, because certainly you don't want a big booty in your face randomly during an event. Post-editing for on-demand viewing, in-depth analytics. Promoting a virtual event takes several weeks and different channels to drive registrations. What we have found is that most event organizers need about 3 to 6 weeks to promote small and virtual events, according to Mark Lechtick. Bigger events typically need more time, about more than 6 weeks, to be successful to reach the target number of registrants. And because the event is virtual, promotional channels are also largely confined online. The company Mark Lechtick also reports in their study that 80% of the organizers promote virtual events via their website, and 60% use social media. Meanwhile, 76% recommend email marketing as the most effective channel for promotions. And so I'm happy that we have a good newsletter, we have a stock newsletter, and lots of people that read that. So a lot of great ways to let people know about these virtual conferences. Now, B2B, if you're a B2B company, in the studies, we've shown that the B2B companies do it a little differently, as their main audience is not for the general public. For their virtual events, they usually rely on business partners to attract participants. But in sum total, about 74% of organizers report seeing a positive ROI 6 months after the event. So we're talking about massive improvement of feedback, users, conversions. Virtual events move the business needle. That's what people are realizing. Even with a non-attendance rate of 35%, meaning if you had 100 people sign up, 35 of them might not show up, which is pretty sad. But even with a 35% non-attendance rate, a figure somewhat higher than for in-person events, virtual events still produce a positive ROI or return on investment. To boost revenue from these types of events, organizers also accept sponsorships for individual sessions or the entire function, which is what we're doing at Full Stack Business Builder Conference. Regardless, though, people are still inclined to attend virtual events even after the lockdown period that we've had over the last 3.5 years. While opinions may vary depending on the country, people are still willing to attend virtual events after the 2023 lockdown dropped. European countries and Australia tend to favor in-person events. In the United Kingdom, for example, only 39% of respondents will do both video conferencing and in-person meetings, while 56% prefer to meet in person only. On the other hand, Asian and American countries are far more flexible. 52% of the U.S. respondents report that they will attend both virtual and in-person events. In Japan, for example, the number is higher to 65%. Across the world, however, the percentage of people who plan to attend only virtual events after the health crisis is low, typically about 10%. But these are growing. These numbers imply that hybrid events will most likely be the norm for the foreseeable future, and virtual events is where the money can be made. So, when it comes to the future of virtual events, that's why we're here. That is why I'm here. As we've seen clearly from the statistics that I've been able to pull and research, it looks like virtual events, whether fully online or hybrid, are clearly here to stay. The convenience afforded by virtual events only makes it difficult for a world connected by the internet to let go of this technology. We cannot let go of virtual events. The technology for hybrid events is also evolving rapidly, so we can expect to have a better experience with virtual events and hybrid events. One example would be the use of virtual reality to give online attendees more realistic and immersive experiences. The VR/AR industry is growing, albeit it's a little hokey right now, but it would not be too far-fetched to assume that we can expect to see more VR and AR components at hybrid events for virtual guests within the next few years. But even if more and more people are able to attend events physically, data clearly shows that there is a sizable chunk of the population who would prefer to attend online. And that is where the Full Stack Business Builder Conference sits. I truly believe, my friends, we are in some of the most exciting times. And these exciting times are ahead of the global virtual events market, right? I mean, we are early. We're early here. Right? 2027 is when they said that it's really going to start taking off. So we got about a good 2 years to really execute upon this vision, this thesis, and do it well. I think it's clearly time for us to embrace these advancements in technology and look forward to a more digital future. We here at the Full Stack Business Builder Conference are leading the fully digital conference experience. We are base zero. We're base level zero. We are the ones that are saying, you know what? Hybrid is great. Virtual's growing like gangbusters. Let's do virtual only exceptionally well. Will we be the next evolution of TEDx? I think so. I'd love you to join us. All the best.